I'm Sharon.
And I'm Mark.
And we are Ponderosa Garden Adventures. Come along with us as we renovate our backyard, do lots of different projects. We're starting today with renovating our mini rose garden. Let's go. I've got my mini roses here. We'll give you a tour of what we're starting with, but I wanted to show you, you can do this on the cheap. We found clearance plants past Valentine's Day, so they were in these nice little containers, but inside we've got these mini roses here, and they look like they've gotten a little dried out. They're looking a little worse for wear, but it doesn't take much to bring them back, and they'll be beautiful in the mini rose garden. All right, so I've got my little mini snippers here, and I'm just going to go through and I'm going to just cut off these spent blooms. We're going to give this plant a fresh start, and it's going to do beautifully in our mini rose garden. I just love roses, and it's just a wonderful way to get some color in the yard, and we've got a fountain in there that we'll show you, and it's just a lovely way to highlight the fountain and bring some color into the yard. And our garden is not a formal garden, but we do have some formal aspects to it, and this is one of those that I just is one of my favorites. So there we go. So it didn't take very long at all, and you can see it still has the heart from Valentine's Day, which we don't need. So there we go, and this one is a perfectly healthy, luscious looking mini rose. And I have one more here. We've got 4 total that we're going to be putting into our mini rose garden. We had some harsh weather this past season, and we also have moles that have come and eaten the roots from some of our mini roses that were in there before. So we're just kind of doing a revamp and refresh, and these are going to be just the ticket. So there we go. Get all the spent cleanup here. And these roses are going to be so happy to be in a nice new space. Oh, we've got one more here. You can tell this is a white one. We've got white and we've got red from Valentine's Day. There we go. All right. So let's give you a tour of the mini rose garden and what we're starting with. It looks pretty rough right now, I have to say.
So this is the centerpiece of our garden. It's a fountain by Al's Garden Art with 2 cherubs pouring water from an urn into a big seashell. And we had a mini rose garden, about 10 of these mini roses planted around it, but some moles came and ate all but 2 of them. So what we're going to do this year is plant them again, but we're going to plant them in gopher shields, and we're going to put down some weed cloth and then some mulch on top of that. And first, let me show you the gopher shield. So this is called gopher shield, and it is a metal fabric, and it's actually these come in the shape of bags. So you just open the bag, and you can insert the plant right into the bag along with some potting soil, and then you just insert the whole thing into the hole in the ground as you would if you're planting a plant. And the idea is hopefully that this will deter the moles from eating the roots of our plants. So let's give it a try. Now, just to show you, this is one of the mini roses. I'm just pulling it up right now, and you can see its roots are completely chewed off. Now, let me tell you about how we're going to do this. We're going to use some 15-year weed cloth over the ground as a mulch, and we're just going to plant in and amongst the weed cloth, and then we're going to put some bark mulch down on top of that.
Right here already, so I want to put the white one next to that. And then I know I want to keep the other red one a bit away, so I'm going to place that one here. I'm going to place this one here. I want to leave enough room for them to spread out, but fill in. And I'm going to put this one here and this one here. And then we'll step back and take a look and see if we're happy with that placement or we want to move anything around.
So now I'm going to plant one of the roses, and I've already put the weed cloth down, so I'm going to do this by cutting a hole in the weed cloth and then planting through the hole. In my opinion, it's easier to plant things and then put the weed cloth over it, but that's not how it worked out. So now I'm going to dig a nice large hole. I have to go fairly large to hold the entire size of the gopher shield. Now this is a 1 gallon gopher shield, so you need a hole large enough for a 1 gallon container, even if the plant that I'm planting isn't in a 1 gallon container. We have to go a little bit larger. And now I'm going to plant the rose. Now this one is not a brand new one. This one we'd actually transplanted into a pot, and you can see that it is really in there. It's a little tricky to get it out. I don't want to disturb the roots. And because of the shape of this pot, it's a little tricky to get it out there. So I'm using a little dandelion weeder. I finally got it loose. And now I want to get it in there quickly. You can see it's got pretty good root ball. So I'm moving quickly to get the rose into the ground as quickly as possible. I'm going to throw a little bit of fertilizer in there, a little organic starter mix. And now into the gopher shield. You can see I've already filled the gopher shield with some dirt, and now all I have to do is toss the rest of the dirt around the edges. And I will say this, it goes much faster without the gopher shield. The gopher shield takes a lot more time, makes planting take a lot more time, but so far we've seen good results. If it's a permanent plant, if it's not just an annual, it's worth it, because chances are it will get eaten by a mole or some other kind of burrowing rodent. Anyway, so now I'm filling in dirt around the edges to fill any gaps there, pressing it down. You can see again it takes a little bit longer. You have to handle it a little carefully so that the gopher shield doesn't get all bunched up and buried. We want a little bit above ground. Now you can see it's got 2 or 3 inches, so I'm just going to roll down the edges to keep it from sticking up so far. And yes, you can see I do have a cast on my finger. That was due to an incident with the dogs, and I'm fine now. It was not a permanent injury. Alright, and now we are done. We just have to put some mulch down. First, we're going to water it in, as always. Water in right after we plant something to fill any gaps that might have air pockets in them. And then now we're going to mulch. I'm just going to use a very generic, basic bark mulch, a brown bark mulch. I'm going to start very carefully here towards the edge because I don't want to spill over into the other areas. Just do a few handfuls here before I finally get fed up and I just grab the whole bag and just start dumping it in piles, and then I will just distribute it with a rake. This is mulching is easy. This is one of my favorite things to do because it only takes a few minutes, and the mulch is really not that heavy. It's pretty easy to do.
hope you enjoyed our mini rose garden renovation today, and we hope that you will share with your friends, like, subscribe, join us here again on Ponderosa Garden Adventures. I'm Sharon.
I'm Mark.
See you next time.